training is my colleagues, the GMSs, and also my data analyst, Biodun Luwale. Um, I believe that the last training you had, we have new MADC grantees. We have the old ones who already understand the environment of the workflow of the Cityspan. So we're gonna do a demo, uh, walk you through how to do enrollment, how to do your staff additional, add your staffs, how to do participant, hard participant. Also, we are open. The question, you can ask us questions via chat. My colleague is able to take the questions and he will be responding. Before we get started, um, I would like to also note that we have GMSs online. If you have any GMS related questions, you could also ask via chat. Also, if you feel you need to ask a question, you could just mute um, and ask question or raise hands with the top buttons you have on your screen. We have raise, we have reaction. You can just raise your hands and ask any questions you want to ask. Okay, so I'm gonna start by sharing my screen. Please let me know if you all can see my screen. Okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you. Um, Before I get started, let me take this one here. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the beginning. So I believe every grantees on this call has a username for the Cityspan. If you do not, please indicate in the chart, because if you do not have a username and a password or login credentials, you might be finding this a little bit tough to understand what we're trying to explain. So if you do not have a username and a password or login details, please indicate. Bjorn, please leave our email on the chat, Len24 Data. So you can also reach out to us if you have any Cityspan related questions or concerns. Please feel free to reach out. And I'm sure my GMS is there super smart, and they always collaborate to help you out. Okay, so we're gonna start with our demo. So, but note, this is the first thing you want to understand. It's very important. This is a very important part of this whole process. Your circle must be in MADC format for you to be able to access MADC. If you leave your circle and say you live in on bridge, there's no way you could access MADC. So the first thing you want to do, you want to make sure this drop down is on MADC. So, but we do not have a demo on this MADC, so do not be confused about when I use a different drop down, but you have to use the MADC drop down because that's where your territory, that's where you belong. Because if you go into any of these drop down aside MADC, you get confused, your login, your participant, your organization name, all of that will be stressing you out. So you want to go to MADC. That's that's rule number one. You want to be here. So all of the organizations are here. So, but I'm on this demo, I'm going to be using the FY23 OST, 24 OST site for this demo because we have an accurate demo. They all behave the same. We're in the same territory. It's just a different. So the first thing you want to do is you want to check how to hide your staffs, because the first thing you want to do, you want to know, how do I hide my staff? How do I put them on? How do they operate in this territory? It's quite simple. Um, First of all, you're already done with your grant agreement. You've finished all of that. So all you need to do is come to this button, click this hard. So you put your first name um, and DOB. Put it right there. Let me put a demo. Uh, there you go. Then you click odd. So now, when you click the button add, it requests for the other data, email, interaction with you. So this is you giving this answering these questions is required. We need to put in this data. So I'm put a demo mail and say supervised and say paid. So you go down. These are uh, questions that the DCHR will request you to answer. So if you have all this clearance approval, you just upload them by hitting the upload button for my GMS to review and approve. You choose one of that. And Shana, if you want to chime in on this clearances and
Yeah,
what they need to,
certainly.
yeah,
Thank you, Olade.
yeah,
So for clarification, this is where you're putting your staff, individual staffs. And right there where it says interaction with youth, Olade indicated that they were a supervised staff. If they are a supervised staff, you do not need to do background clearances on them. That means
right,
they are supervised by someone who is a background cleared staff at all times. They're working under someone. We recommend that all of your staff that are working with youth, regardless of if they're supervised or not, go through the background clearance. However, it is not required of anyone unless they are unsupervised. So, Olade, if you click unsupervised, back up at the top, interaction with youth, unsupervised, that's when you're required to go down here and put their background clearances. Now, when we went through the training last week, we talked about, not last week, when was it? I guess I'm trying to recall. I have so many different trainings, but
last time.
One of the trainings Mark shared with us about how the background trainings that are required are FBI, MPD, Metropolitan Police Department, and National Sex Offender. You will see here a whole list of different clearance options. And we are in the middle of doing an overhaul on this staff module because it's confusing. When you look at this, you feel like you need to upload something to each of these. That is not the case. And if you look in the guidebook that was provided, all that is needed, again, is the FBI, MPD, and NSO. So if you're doing it separately, you go down here and you upload the FBI, you upload the MPD, you put the date that the clearance was issued, you upload it, and then you also do the NSO, which is the National Sex Offender. However, if you have a DCHR, which we will pay for you to do, or if they're a DCPS employee, or they have an OSSI, it covers all three of those. So if you go through DCHR, you do not need to go into MPD, NSO, FBI separately. Scroll back up to the top, please, Olade, where it says, so if you go through the DCHR and get it done and our office pays for it, you will upload here and that's all you'll need. You'll put the clearance date and upload, we'll verify it, and you're done. You do not have to go and you don't have to upload OSSI. You don't have to upload any of those additional. It's really the option. And again, this is explained in the grantee guidebook. Mark, if you don't mind dropping that, I think you may have already, if not, yeah, dropped it into the chat. The grantee guidebook breaks it down. We pay for the DCHR. If you send your staff through that to be fingerprinted, that covers all three clearances. If they are a DCPS staff and already have a clearance, you can go down to the next one. Olade, if you can scroll down. And if they're already, then that's where you're going to upload and their badge. If they have a current DCPS badge, that satisfies this. So all you have to do is upload the unexpired DCPS badge there. Boom, you're done with background clearance. If they're OSSI staff or have an OSSI clearance, then you'll upload that here. Boom, you're done. If you go down one more, if they have a federal security clearance and they have that and it's still within the last 2 years because it has to be within the last 2 years, boom, you upload that, you're done. Now, if you don't go through one of those steps, then you have to do individually the FBI, upload that, the MPD, upload that, and the National Sex Offender, upload that. So I hope that that helps clarify that you don't have to upload something into every form. You just have to meet one of those requirements that is outlined in the grantee guidebook. I think I saw a question on how we pay for it. You will send an email with the name and the email address, the full name and the email address of any staff that you need background cleared to our background DC Gov email that Mark is putting in the chat. You send your staff there, and we will send them the instructions of where to go to get fingerprinted, and they'll have DCHR will cover the cost. Then you'll get the results, and you upload them here. Okay, so that's your staff module. Back to you, Olade.
Thank you, Shannon. So as she has clarified, that you just have to upload just one of this requirement, and also pay attention to this red asterisk. This means you must put in this data, because if you don't pass through this page. And thank you, Shannon, for clarifying this part. As soon as all of this is loaded, all you just need to do is
Oh,
just
I'm sorry, Olade, can I jump in real quick? Because
sure.
you scrolled down and it reminded me before we move
Okay.
from this page.
Okay.
The certifications. At each of your sites, you need to have, of course, anybody that works with youth is technically a mandated reporter, but there is in your grant agreement a link to a certified training certification for mandated reporter. You need at least one staff to go through that for each site that you're serving at. And then if they're a mandated reporter, you just indicate yes there, and then you'll have the opportunity to upload their certificate of training. And then same with the first aid CPR. You need one staff person minimum at each site to go through that. So if they've gone through the training, you upload that here, and then that indicates for us by site who of your staff have those appropriate trainings. So just wanted to make sure you understand that that's where you do that as well. And one other point, if your staff have not gone through background checks and received the clearance, you just want to make sure they're supervised at all times. That's the way you get around that, because of course we want to ensure that our youth are safe at all times. So they are only with background cleared staff or those that are supervised. Okay. So sorry about that. Back to you, Olade.
No, thank you. That was very important information, because it was not even showing the red asterisk. So I think I had to talk to the developers on this one, because it's pretty much important that they have this on ground. They have a metadata reporter. They have a first aid. So this is very important. You have to upload this document. Okay, so once that is done, so I think I have to click no, so it doesn't say, although even though it's not on red asterisks, but so you hit save. It's very advisable that you hit save, uh, because sometimes you just put in data and you just take your eyes away, and or your server or your internet just bumped. But the moment you hit save, the data is stored. So it's easier for you to come back and continue, because if you don't save, the data is gone. So once you're done, and you see you don't make any mistakes or whatnot, you just hit the submit button. So now you have submitted your staff. So your GMSS will work on all document you did submit and get back to you, because they have to approve. So when they approve, you'll see a document that says verified, approved from your GMS. It's automatic. They go through it, and your staff will be approved, and you're good to go. So that is it on the staff module. So now we want to take you to, let me take you back to participant enrollment. So that is quite easy as well. So note that you're not gonna be using that um, FY 23-24. You have to use MADC. It's very important. So you click on your participant. It is quite easy. For those who rolled over, all data was rolled over by developers. So once you you want to add a new youth, if okay, let me go back. So for instance, we have this, maybe this is your, if this is your portal, we have Jimmy. So I want to add Jimmy again. It's not, you don't have to enter all those details. So it's just type Jimmy and you do search, it's gonna bring Jimmy here. But if it is all new, yes, you have to just hit odd. Sorry, this system a little bit slow. Okay, so let's say you want to have all new, say John, and you did search, and the system don't find it. This is what it's going to tell you. Click here to add new person, and you click it, then you put all John Marcus details there. It's quite easy, user friendly, and you just put you put in all the data.
And while Oladay is filling in the template data there, or the demo data, I'll just point out, when you saw the list of students when he opened it, that's
Mhm.
because many of our grantees are returning grantees. And when you're a returning grantee, you may be serving many of the same students year over year, just as they progress through the different grades. So we roll over the data from year to year so that you can go in and just select your students that were already in your program and not have to add all of this information. Of course, you can update it if they moved or their grade level, etc., but it's going to roll over that general information. That's why you see a list of already populated students that you can add. If you're a brand new grantee, you're not going to see any youth there. You're going to have to add each new youth registrant.
Thank you, Shanna, for that. So this is all for brand new grantees, because you're not going to see any registered youth because there was no rollover. So once you put all the data, the race, the ethnicity, and you put it in, you just hit the add button. And now this is the most important part. It's very important. So the youth demographics, we always already having difficulties with this with previous grantees because they do not complete this field. And if you do not complete this field, the workflow is that the new rule, you are not able to transition into enrollment. And if you're not able to transition into enrollment, you're not able to do the COI report generated. So you have to ensure that all red asterisks, all of this red, everything in red, you must put in the COI consent. So I'm gonna let Shauna discuss about this consent. And
Yeah, if
also,
you
yeah.
recall from the orientation, that's the survey that must be done with all youth within the first 6 weeks of programming. You have to have consent from the parents to be able to do that. And so we had suggested that you include that as part of your enrollment forms, so that it's all done at one time. You have a statement that provides consent for SAYO as well as FERPA consent. FERPA consent, which is their educational data, allows us to get this additional data down here that you may not have, their ethnicity, their race, as well as, does the student have an IEP? Does the student, is the student an English learner? All of those things that we will receive from OSTE and or DCPS to be able to confirm the types of students that are being served, and be able to share with you if you upload the FERPA. Again, you're not required to upload that FERPA there, but if you want to see that data on your youth, you have to upload it. But either way, you have to include the FERPA release, yes or no, and the SAYO consent, yes, no. Do you have that on file? If you don't currently have it on file, go ahead and put no, save and submit your youth. And when you receive it, you can come back and change that. If you're waiting on a parent to fill out that form, you can go ahead and register your kids. And then as you receive those consents, again, just go back and update that, yes, you have that. Because you'll see in just a bit when Olade and Biodin talk to you about how to generate the links for your students to be able to complete the SAYO survey. If you don't have it indicated as yes, that you have SAYO consent, meaning that the parent is providing consent for you to survey their youth on the quality of your program, you will not be able to generate a link for that student to be able to complete the survey. Okay, so that's why this is important. And again, we won't be able to receive the data if the FERPA is not, if the parent has every right to say, no, I don't want you to see my student's academic data. If they opt out, that's fine. You'll say no there, and we won't receive that data. But we want to receive the data on hopefully the majority of your youth. And so that's why we ask for consent. If you want to also receive and see, like, not only their demographics, whether they're English learner, have an IEP, what their diagnosis is, you'll also be able to see their school attendance information. You'll be able to see their academic assessment data. You'll be able to see their behavioral data. If you then take the additional step of uploading the FERPA form to the student's profile. If you don't need that information, you're just doing soccer club with them and you don't need to see that, fine. Then you don't need to upload it. That's why we give you the option and do not require it of all staff. I mean, of all grantees. My apologies. Okay.
Thank you, Shanna. So once you put in the right data, just put if it's DPS, if it's charter, if it's private, you put in the right data. Shanna, you want to shed a little bit light on this Leah student ID so they don't get confused about it? Because it's not even a steric.
Is that the issue that Cityspan's having where they override and put their own?
Right.
I'm sorry, I can't speak to that. I would not. You can put your own ID there, but otherwise it's going to generate one. No, I'm sorry. This is the LEA student ID.
LEA student ID, yeah.
My apologies. You probably won't have this information. You may, if you're working with MADC, you're working very closely with the school. So you may have the student ID. That helps us pull the data from OSSI or DCPS easier if you have their individual student ID number. But that's not a requirement because many of our programs do not know that information. So if you do, you can enter it, but it's not required.
All right, thank you, Shanna. So if you do, just enter it. And hit save. I always advise save first because it's very important to save your data, and you just hit submit. So once you submit, Cityspan personal ID is automatically generated for this client, for this youth. So you have this ID. It is not the participant ID. It is the Cityspan ID. It's for Cityspan to keep tab of your own data and the youth. So now you go to contact information. Shana, you want to shed light on this because I don't think this is editable or is a fillable site place. It's not editable because I thought it used to be. Okay. So
yeah, I don't think that.
No, I don't think so either because it's not. Yeah, I think the contact information is copied to Cityspan because it already say contact one. I think it's copied from what the data they generated at the back end.
Oh, I think that this, as you can see, and I apologize for not being completely on top of this here, but I believe that this is just all optional. There are no requirements here. So if you want to be able to include the family's contact information so you can easily pull up, this is an option here for you. As you can see, again, there are no indicated required fields. So you do not have to enter this information. There are additional fields that you can use if you would like. And this is one of them.
Okay, thank you. So the enrollment is quite easy. So you want to enroll John. So you have the data, the date John is starting. I'm trying to also chime in on this one. Say your program is starting in May, and it ends by June. So you just hit the enroll, and all the programs that is listed here, your programs will be listed. All your programs will be listed right under the participant module. So all you need to, if John is going to this, going to attend this, you just need to click proceed.
Okay, real quick, Olade, I want for clarification. This is not you have one program, right? That's the program, your grant program that you were funded to provide. These are the activities, all right? So you may have math
Yes.
club on Tuesdays, you may
Mm-hmm.
have basketball on Wednesdays. If that student is going to attend each of those activities, you can go through and click those. Now, let
Mm-hmm.
me be very clear. You do not have to break it down by activities. You can, and you'll have to set up your activities. And you did that as part of your grant application. You indicated what activities. And so they will be automatically populated here from your grant application. What activities you indicated will be a part of each site will be listed. And you can go in there and click that the students are going to basically participate in all of them or only some of them, depending on how your program is set up. However, you do not have to take attendance by activities. Some organizations really like doing that, and maybe they have something just for STEM, and they want to be able to report how many hours and how many students participated in the STEM program or the college and career prep or whatever. You can break it down and you can add them to each activity. However, if you see there about 5 rows down, there's general attendance. You can just select general attendance and just do just see attendance across the day. You do not have to do all activities. So again, that's the options there that are available to you based upon how much detail you want in your reports, but you can just do general attendance. Either way, though, you do need to include them in some activity in order to take attendance. So at the bare minimum, you need to select general attendance, and that's going to show their daily attendance, just a general, that they're enrolled in the general attendance activity so that you can take attendance on that each day.
Shanna, Ola,
Yeah, sure.
very
Yes.
quick question point. And I'm not sure if this will be the case for MADC, but traditionally within the sites, they would have to establish the program for these activities to then be visible. So will that still be the case on the site panel on the left side there, where then they utilize the Add Plus button to create those activities? Or where they roll over automatically?
It is my understanding that they roll over. Everything is set up in your grant application that rolls over into your grant agreement that you can make changes to currently within the program form. If you are no longer doing math club, but going to do a literacy club instead, or something similar, you can make those changes. It needs to be consistent with your program description, but you are submitting your program forms now as part of your grant agreement. That's what's then going to roll over into these activities that you see. If you need to add an activity, you can certainly do that as well. You decided that you're going to add on a field trips every Friday, then you can add that on. If you want to be able to track that separately. Otherwise, again, you can just do general attendance.
Thank you, Shanna. If you ask me, the general attendance is actually very good, but if you want to do it this way too, through activities, but general attendance makes it seamless, easy, and when you're doing an upload. Okay, so I'm just gonna select this activities and hit proceed. Okay, now you need to put in the enroll date. Say start by November and start this stuff by October. So you just hit proceed. Hold on 1 second. Enroll date must come. Okay.
I think that you enrolled the student not until May.
Yeah.
So, of course, the student would not, again, these are where everything is built into the system to make sure that it's logical. So if the student didn't begin the program until May, they wouldn't be able to begin the activity in November.
Right.
So that's when you'll get those type of error reports.
Yes. So what I just did is I just enrolled, I fixed the date. So you have this so the status must say enrolled. So you have this youth John Marcus enrolled. So now you want to go into the attendance. It's pretty simple. You want to what day does John comes? What days does he attend all the program? When is he present? When he's, so you just absent.
Absent.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
just put okay, say John is absent on all of those days. You just hit the A button and you say save and return. So now you want to go to this is where you upload all the general attendance and participant Shana just talked about. It's quite simple. Let me do it again. On just right on the participant and staff is you see the upload, but you have to be under your organization. You have to be under your organization. You have to be under um, your own profile before you can see these labels. They will not populate if you don't log in, if you're not under your profile. So you hit this, and Cityspan has a template. This is the I'm gonna show you the template. How you do is on Excel file. They do not have any other spreadsheet like Google and whatnot. They only have Excel file. So you follow this template direction, how you put them, the header, the name, the dates. So if you follow this direction, you'll be able to upload your attendance and your participant. But the thing is, if you do not put it this way, Cityspan, so this is where you put the Cityspan ID, the one that was generated earlier. So you put the first name, DOB, street, just follow through. If you do not put them in this arrangement, this will reject it. It will reject your upload. Cityspan will not allow you to upload your templates because it keeps giving you error. In that situation, you can always reach out to Learn24 Data. It's an easy fix. We'll just show you what you were missing and what you didn't do right. It's the same thing. This is a template attendance for template. This is participant template. So just make sure they go right in this format. This is how you could get it right. Upload it. If you put zip code under on column I to zip code to column K, it's gonna be rejected. You just follow this format, column and rows. So that is a simple upload.
If
So
you can,
now,
Olade, I'm sorry, real quick. I want to just add some additional information. If you can go back to that template.
go
So
ahead.
what Olade has walked through for you is how to enter the participants and take attendance one by one. But then he has now just showed you can do bulk uploads is what
Yeah,
this is
this
allowing. So if you go
this
back
is
to that template under uploads, he's just going to take us straight to it. Yes, please go there. Go to the template.
You want me to come back to the templates?
Yeah, to the
Okay.
spreadsheet that we're going to look at.
Okay,
You
that's
can
fine.
see there on the screen, there was both a participant template and an attendance template. You can upload bulk participants by filling out this form. You can just go in and drop all of the information versus each student one by one in here, because you probably have it on some Excel spreadsheet somewhere anyway. You could copy and paste the information into the right order here and upload it, and it'll automatically populate all your student participants. Now, you will still need to go in and check them and hit submit for each of them once they're uploaded, but all of the data will be uploaded through this link. If you go back and show the spreadsheet, I wanted to point out the data dictionary. The first tab, you want to pay attention to that, because if you do not put the information in exactly how they are indicating it needs to be in. So if you scroll over, like, okay, so the District of Columbia, you can't put DC. It won't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
This has got to align with the drop downs for reporting processes so that all the information comes back consistent. Same with the schools. If you go to the schools, and I'm not sure where does it show us? Is that in the rules?
Let me see the rules.
There are the rules, but it also in the data dictionary, I thought that it showed it has the drop down of accepted values for like the school names, so that it has to look exactly like it does in the drop down. Can you scroll over, Olade, and look where it's schools? and maybe then scroll down. No, in the actual data dictionary.
No,
The data dictionary should give us. Oh, there we go. See, you have to scroll down. I knew it was somewhere. It has, this will tell you what is unacceptable, and it lists all the schools there. So if you keep scrolling down all the day, you want to go in. If you're, this is going to be easy for you all because you're working with priority schools. You're going to want to go in and grab that school's name exactly as it is listed in the drop down and copy that into your template tab so that it uploads. If you put, if your school is Thompson ES Elementary School and you put Thompson Elementary, but in the drop down it's Thompson ES, it's not going to show up, and then you're going to have to go in and manually enter it. So just wanted to be clear there that you need to follow the data dictionary and the rules to make sure that the template uploads all of your information in bulk upload correctly. Same with the attendance. You'll be able to take all your students, you'll be able to put all your dates from the template in there and then indicate where they're present or absent and upload it for the full week. If you want your team to take attendance like in an Excel spreadsheet and send it to you, then you can upload it. Or if sometimes if you've missed a week or two and you want to do it across a few weeks, we try to have you do it weekly. We know that sometimes you don't always get the report from the site coordinators as quickly, but you can do those bulk uploads versus having to go in and do daily attendance for each student in your system. So that is what those upload functions allow for.
Yeah, thank you, Shanna, for that. So if you need help with sending you this template so you can follow through, because if you use, these fields are very sensitive. If you, like Shanna said, if you enter, say you enter the school, you enter PCS, Meridian PCS, and you put Meridian PC. So it's gonna be confusing. So if you need this Excel file to be sent to you, please shoot us an email on Len24 Data, and we can send you all this requirement, and you can go with it data dictionary. Thank you, Shannon, for that. Okay, so this is what the upload button is for. So let's go back to so now you see I put attendance for all John Marcus. So this indicate that he attended all the program or activities on the set dates. So this is why he has A. So
no, he's absent. P is present.
Sorry, absent. So if you put P, is present. So it's just easy click. And if it is absent here, you just click A. If it is present here, you put, it's quite easy. It's just one touch. So if you need to make adjustment, maybe you already filled out this data ahead and you see, oh, look, oh no, it canceled. You just hit A. Or it wasn't showing up on time and you already put A. You just need to come back and hit P and click save and return. And that's it. So now we want to go to say why. If you have any questions, if I'm moving too fast, please let me know.
Ola, real quickly, might you be able to demonstrate just the manual input of attendance in the programs for, let's say they only have 10 youth and they don't want to do the bulk template. Could you show that maybe from the site side?
Okay, yeah. So
just so that template looks for them.
Yeah, I do not have that data downloaded, but I could, hold on 1 second. I think I know what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see all dates. Okay. So what he was saying is if you want to upload if like 10 days and it was just 6 days. So you could just come here. Hold on 1 second and let me go back. Let me just look for another site.
Well, yeah, that was what it was, Ola, just showing that they can manually
yes, you can
the template.
Yeah, you can manually come here, say all absent or say all present.
And or take, this is for a date that's already been entered. But I think what Mark is asking is that you can go into your individual sites and go into your programs.
Right.
I'm sorry, go into your activities And your activity may just be
Mhm.
general attendance, remember. He selected art, because if you've
Mhm.
decided to break it down, you click
See,
that date, it's going to give you all of the students versus having to
right,
take individual attendance on
right.
students across days. You can
Mhm.
also enter it by general attendance or activity across the day for each of your students. So that's just the
Right.
manual versus the bulk upload.
Yeah. So this is the manual if you want to all the student on this on Wednesday, November 1, 2023. If you have like 300 students, you don't want to be doing that. You just say, oh, all of them didn't come through. You just hit all absent, or they all came. You just hit all present. So it's thank you,
Or
Matt, for
hit
that.
all present, but then go through and change those few that were absent to absent is probably the easiest way to do that when you're
Yes.
doing manual.
Right. Right. Okay, so when all of that is done, we need SAOI. SAOI is if you already consented for SAOI. So once you put in your enrollment, SAOI is automatic generated. The link is generated immediately. You put in the enrollment and you start taking the absent or the present records. So the data is always here. If you hit your SAOI, you see the link. Mind you, we do have we always have a data or developer issues. So sometimes if you don't see the link populate or you're receiving an error message or invalid messages, please reach out to your GMS or your data team or the data analyst. So the email is right there on the chat. So we could help you and walk you through how you could generate this SAOI link. So once this is generated automatically the moment you put in those details, those data generated immediately. So all you need to do is just copy this link and put it right on your browser. And there you go. So you ask the you, are you, if I click yes, you say next, then they fill out all this requirement. And the moment they do, they hit submit. The reason for this, we're capturing all um, responses from the youth because we always generate a report and we use this data to understand how these programs is shaping the youth and helping them. So generally the workflow is to understand what the youths, how they're progressing, how they feel about the program. That's the essence of SAOI. Shanna, if you have other things to say, I'm open for
Yeah,
any
please.
questions. If
Yeah,
you have any other
just
questions, please go ahead.
Yeah, just to recap, and again, I know we're going through a lot of information, and you may have some of you, have been previous grantees, and this is just a recap. But if you're new grantee, I know it's a lot, and you're just getting your grant agreements, executed or working through that. But we wanted you to go ahead and see how Cityspan, you will then, as soon as your grant agreement is executed, you're going to start entering your staff. You're going to enter your youth enrollment. That all needs to be done immediately. Your attendance on a weekly basis, and then SAO surveys need to be done both at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. The beginning of the year is the first 6 weeks of your program. You want to go in, and as a reminder, this is only for 4th grade and above. So if you're serving students that are in K through 3, they do not have to complete this. You can ask them, you can as a grantee if you want that information, but the requirement from OST office is that it's for 4th through 12th graders to complete. And they have to, again, have a SAOI consent. You have to check that, yes, you have that from the parent. So if you have selected that the SAOI consent was received from the parent and that student has been in attendance at least one day, then there will be this link that shows up, and it is an individual link for each student, so that you're going to take it and you're going to set up a computer and you're going to say, Elizabeth Brown, come here and sit down, or Jane Franklin, come over here and sit down. And you're going to 1 by 1 or 3 by 3, depending on how much computers you have them set. You're going to pull up their survey. They're going to answer these questions and hit submit. Now, quickly, so that you can see here what we're asking, if you can go to the top and just scroll down slowly, you can see it's at the school or summer program. How do you feel? Do you like coming to program? Do you have fun when you're at the program? The next set of questions, what are the teachers and staff members like at this after school or summer program? Is there an adult at this program who is interested in what you think about things? Is there an adult in the program you can talk to, if you could keep scrolling down all the day, that you can talk to when you are upset? The next set of questions, when you are at the after school or summer program, do you get help do you get to help to plan activities for the program? Do you get a chance to lead activities? This really is about that youth voice and participation that is so important. And then the last set of questions, what are you like as a learner? And then I'd like to give new things a try. I'm in school, I'm as good as other kids. So this is self-assessment and SEL, like really helping to understand students' state of mind. How do you get along with others? How else has this after school or summer program helped you? So these are the type of questions that are being asked of the youth. You will get a report on your beginning of the year and your end of the year so that you can see if progress is being made. You will not see it by student. It will be, aggregate data in which you'll be able to see 70% of your students say that they try hard in school. 90% of your kids say that at program, someone is there to talk to if they are having problems. Maybe it's 70% and you want it to improve. So you then implement, certain program improvement strategies so that by the end of the year, you can see an increase in that percentage. So that is how this helps with quality of programming. It also helps us when we can see across the board, if we see that overall students enjoy their programs, but only about 40% are saying that they get to help make decisions in programming. We know that we need to provide more trainings and technical support around youth voice, youth engagement, and youth leadership to our grantees. So that's how we use the data. And we also have to report this to our stakeholders. So just wanted you to get a chance to look at this. You can request a sample survey. We can send you the sample survey. And it's also important to know that up at the top, at the very top, Olade, you see where it says English, the far right corner above the cancel button? You can click there, and there are many languages that this form is in. So if your student is an English learner and needs to take it in Amharic or Arabic or Spanish, etc., you can change the form to the language there. Okay, so you're going to go in, you're going to input your staff and your background clearances. You're going to go in and you're either going to individually enter your students or you're going to bulk upload them for participation, and then make sure you go back and hit submit once they're all completed, because they won't be actually enrolled until you hit submit on each of the students. You're going to do daily and weekly attendance and or bulk uploads on your attendance. And then within the first 6 weeks, you're going to have all of your 4th grade and above students and K through 3rd. If you would like your 3rd graders to take it, you'll receive that information. But we're requiring 4th grade and above to go in and take the SEO survey. And then you'll do it again in May, June at the end of the program, in the last 4 weeks of the program. Okay, that is everything for today. Again, we know this is a lot. We wanted to provide an overview. The system is pretty user-friendly, but we're always going to run into, technical difficulties or forget something. This recording will be provided to you so that you can go back to the area that you remember that we talked about something. But you can also, we have every Tuesday and Thursday, the data team, Bioden and Olade, offer data office hours, where you can join and you're like, man, I really can't figure out this attendance upload thing. You join 12 o'clock every Tuesday or Thursday. If we can drop the link for those standing meetings into the chat, you are invited to come. We will help you through the data team will help you through any process that you are stuck at, from the grant agreement through closeout. We are always there as a team to support you, as is your grant management specialist. You can reach out and they can also try to assist. If 12 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays does not work for you, then you can also send an email to the data. If we can also drop that in the chat, the data at learn 24 data at dc.gov email, that's going to go straight to Viaden and Holiday. They check it regularly, and they can schedule a separate time for you to come and work, troubleshoot, and provide technical support from them. So thank you to the data team. Thank you to everyone who is here today. We don't expect you to have it all down, but we do hope you find the system pretty user-friendly. We're continuing to improve throughout this year. And if you ever have any suggestions on how to make things easier, you can certainly share those with your grant management specialist as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shannon, and thank you for everybody who attended. And if you, like Shannon said, it's gonna look all too much, especially for the new grantees. Like she said, we are always available to help you out concerning all Cityspan needs, and be rest assured that you're in good hands. Thank you.
And there's the email, learn24data at dc.gov, that reaches our data team. I think we've answered the questions that are in the chat. If you have, we have 10 more minutes. If there's any broad question that you'd like to ask at this point, please feel free to come off mute and ask. Otherwise, we'll give you a few minutes back to your day. Yes, Afnan.
Hey, how's it going, Shana? So we still haven't executed. Yeah, glad to hear. This is immensely helpful and a lot better than our Cityspan experiences beforehand in 2021 and 2022. Question was, I can see my program site and my participant and staff module. I'm still unexecuted as far as my grant agreement goes. However, I can't add a program site, and it's also not auto-filled. And I'm guessing the staff module opens up, like Mark mentioned inside the comments, once we're executed. Just wanted to get any kind of heads up. We like to do as much advanced work as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason you can't see that, Mark was correct. You can go ahead and start doing your staff, but until you have approved the grant agreement. Once you have approved the grant agreement, because for new grantees, we may be waiting on certificate of insurance, as you recall, for us to be able to execute. But once you have approved your program site form that says, hey, these are the new site that we're adding. These are, it won't roll over for you to be able to access it in the data management system until you have approved your program site information. Because right now, during the grant agreement process, you can go in and add a second site, or you can, as we've talked about, you can adjust your hours or your activities depending on if it meets the program description and your communication with the school. And so as those changes are made, once you've signed off on your grant agreement, then that automates the process of rolling that information over into your data management system.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll do some poking around right now, because for me at present, if I go into sites, there's no option to add anything. There's nothing there.
So for adding a site, are you looking to add a actual physical location?
Whatever is necessary, because at present, if I go into sites, there is no preloaded program site that draws from my application or for anything else. It just literally says program sites and no records to display, with no add button and no.
That's right. That's because remember, you haven't approved your grant agreement yet. That will not roll over until the grant agreement is executed. Now, for MADC grantees, I don't anticipate you all adding any sites from what your grant agreement, because you have to serve at the school, right? It's a little different than our other competitions. At other competitions, a grantee may have 6 sites, and one of the sites fell through and they need to change it from MLK library to the elementary school. So they're going to go in and make those changes now during the grant agreement process on the program site form. And then once they submit or sign off on the grant agreement, that's when it uploads into the data management system. But because that's how we operate across competitions, that's what's preventing that from happening for you all at this point. But once you hit approve on your grant agreement, once you sign, it will roll over your priority school as your site into the data management system.
Okay. All right. So like, I think is that step number 7, just to make sure, on like the overall grant agreement form?
You mean, I don't know.
Like,
I'm sorry, I don't see it in front of me, but
yeah,
the program site forms is where all that information is.
I got
Oh,
you.
the approval process, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Because like it asked for organization profile like 3 times, like steps 6 through 8. So I finished 6. I'm guessing like there's nothing else I can do for step 7 to submit, right? Because I've already submitted.
I'm gonna open real quick. So I want to make sure we're on the same page here, and I don't want to tell you anything wrong. Let me go into MADC. I'm in Cityspan. And if I look on my sample here, yes, you go through 6. You go through step 6, right? Application sign off.
Yeah.
Or is that step 5 on your side?
So for me, step 5 is budget narrative. Step 6 is application sign off. Step 7 is grant manager approval, and step 8 is approval. And so step 6 is the one that we had where we could submit our organization profile. And then even in step 7, if I go to the organization profile link and click it and resubmit it, I still don't see the check off for step 7 from my end.
So step 7 is the grant manager approval.
That's my GMS right there, right?
Right. So they need to go in and check and make sure. I will go in and check and make sure that once you have, so you've submitted the grant app, you've signed off, but you haven't submitted your program sites and budget narrative. That's all of these must be submitted in submitted stage for it to come to me to approve it.
Okay. So do you need me to send those like through the portal, or those were sent to you separately, right?
You just go into each of those steps and you hit submit when you're done. So you need to go into program sites once you're done updating it and the budget narrative. Once you're done approving everything there and it aligns with your award and anything that we've discussed that I've approved, then you will hit submit on those individual forms, those individual steps. That's when it comes to me to review it and make sure, yes, the number of youth that are being served, the dollar amount, everything matches with the grant award, then I will approve it. I will then also be the executor on yours because our ED is out on maternity leave. So I will then go in once I've approved it and execute it. But it requires you to have submitted all forms before I can approve.
Okay, I got you. All right. So that helps out. So program sites, those 2 are not done. I'll get those 2 done today. Thank you so much, Shannon. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Megan, I see you have a question.
Yeah, hi. First off, thank you so much for putting this together. This is super helpful. My question is about enrollment. Does the bulk upload template also enroll students into the specific programs, or will we have to do enrollment manually after the participant uploads?
It enrolls them into the program. You will then have to go in and enroll them into the activity. So you'll have them all enrolled. And then I believe, because they're
yes, you're right, Shannon. So it enrolls them, but you have to manually enroll them in the activities, but it puts them on the program.
And that's what I meant. Like you have to go in there once you bulk uploaded, you have to go in, make sure that they're assigned to an activity, which can just be general attendance, or it can be the multiple activities, and hit submit. That's when you can see them for attendance. That's when you can see their SEO link if they have consent to be able to do so. So you do have to do that additional step.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course. Happy to be able to help.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. So like we said, we always have every Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you have any Cityspan related issues, just join the Tuesdays and Thursdays 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Join us, and we are always in real time available to walk you through. Maybe share a screen, or we share a screen to show you maybe the steps you're missing. Yeah. So if we do not have any further questions, I will hand it over to Shannon to close that out.
us out. Yeah, thank you. Real quick, I want to, Dr. Hope, thank you for putting the comment in the chat. Afnan, for any of our new grantees, you are going to approve, you're going to submit all of those forms that we just talked about and sign off. And you should be able to then add your students. It does not require my approval for you to then, it's once you have approved and everything is submitted that it rolls over. However, I will not be able to approve or execute your grant until your certificate of insurance has been approved. So that's the hold off there. You will submit, and then you'll be able to it'll populate your data management system. You'll be able to go in and enter your students, etc., even though your grant agreement may not be executed. And that is just because we're waiting on that certificate of insurance. Got it? Okay. All right. Okay, everyone, we are at 3:02, so we're going to adjourn. Thank you. Reach out to us with any individual questions as you work through this process. We are here to support you.
Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely, Tricia. Thank you.
Have
Thank you,
a good day.
Olade.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.